Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday morning. I hope you have your cup of coffee, maybe a donut or some type of croissant, and then you're going to spend the next half hour, 40 minutes with me. So, checking in with you. How are you? Did you ever imagine JJC, our country, or life in this way? We have needed to find comfort in chaos and to be okay with learning as we go. While it's a time of incredible challenge, it's also a time of incredible opportunity. As we reflect on 2020, the isolation of the COVID pandemic, the volatility of our country, and the deep pain of racial injustice, we know the opportunity inherent in this moment for transformational change. I asked our campus community at the start of the fall semester to make a pledge with me. We pledged that we would lead our interactions with compassion and respect for students, for colleagues, and for ourselves. This shared view has strengthened us and it has sustained us. Resilience is in our DNA. Right now, I want to share a brief video. This video compiles our JJC experience over the last 6 months. Is it safe to say the pandemic is the story of the year, the decade, or even the century? While it's impossible to compile everything we've done, hoping this is inspiring and motivating to you. This is the human side of the pandemic. This is not analytics or forecasting. This is us. It's a true example of our institutional soul and our values. I hope you listen to these individuals and remember why JJC is the institution that it is.
Today, we heard a dire warning. The CDC said what's happening now in the U.S. could turn out to be as serious as what we're seeing overseas.
If there was a definition for love and family and friendship and the phrase, we're going to get through this together, it's JJC.
We've been able to provide our services by, giving an opportunity for students to still have those types of interactions with us. They just look a little different.
Technology has definitely been the key.
I mean, we couldn't be where we are today if it weren't for ICE. We're never going to go back to the way it was, and we don't want to. We've met their needs, and we've opened horizons for them that we couldn't offer before.
That's the part that kind of made me proud, just watching everyone do that extra bit so that no one would be left behind.
I think that's one thing that helped me the most was collaborating with my colleagues in the department to help pull this off.
Yo nunca he hecho clases por la computadora en línea hasta ese semestre pasado que necesitaba por la situación del coronavirus.
Hello, my name is Jason Howland. I teach principles of biology for nursing and vet tech majors, and welcome to my kitchen classroom.
The pandemic may have changed some of the methods we use to reach our students, but it has not changed the quality of the programming and services we provide.
I hope that the takeaway for our employees is that in the future, when things are back to normal, that maybe you can get through some of these challenges a little easier and we can accomplish things we thought we couldn't.
We became aware that Physicians Immediate Care, which is across the street here on Humboldt, was conducting COVID testing. So a few of us within the department came up with the idea of buying lunch for them.
We've created over 3,000 of each so far and distributed them. I was working 8 hours a day for about the first month just to get the need met.
It's just our privilege to be a part of something like this, and we look forward to being able to do more in the future.
I know that our club communities have worked very hard during this time to make every student feel important and make sure that everybody knows they're not alone.
They were also offering Chromebooks to students who didn't have computers or had, outdated computers. And a lot of the student activities, such as the clubs, have been meeting online.
Este otoño vamos a pasar a la nueva normalidad. Pero no va a cambiar nada. Mi compromiso con los estudiantes es el mismo. Quizás no nos veamos en persona, pero nos veremos a través de videoconferencias.
The staff is deeply aware of the role that they play in the college being able to successfully and safely open again. And I really hope that our fellow employees truly understand how fortunate we are to have such a dedicated team of professionals that are here to support them.
Well, we're all in this together, and we're going to help each other through this. Students and employees alike, we're all JJC Wolves.
We all need to be patient with each other and support each other. We need to be brave and take risks. We cannot continue business as usual. This is new terrain for all of us, and we need to think differently.
There's a lot of uncertainties, but the one certainty, the one guarantee is that JJC is going to be there with you every step of the way, making sure that you get everything that you need.
So now you can tell why I'm so proud of our employees and our students. They're truly amazing. This semester, we came back to campus in a very limited capacity. Spring 2021 classes will look much like the fall 2020 semester, with about 10% of the student population on campus for necessary in-person labs and the rest taking virtual lecture courses. Though the state's increased mitigation measures went into effect for our region last week, this does not impact our current operations. Since our campus is open for limited activities on August 3rd, the college has seen low positive confirmed cases. We make this information publicly available on our website under the COVID FAQ section. We have made decisions in many cases going beyond CDC requirements to ensure the health and safety of our employees and students. Temperature checks are required upon entry to our campuses, and we have increased the number of daily cleanings, are changing air filters more frequently, and are using electrostatic sprayers to support sanitation efforts in our classrooms and lab spaces. I am confident we are ready and prepared for whatever comes our way. We make decisions with our students and you top of mind, keeping our safety and well-being at the forefront. As I said earlier, transformation is here. This influences all aspects of the college, how we support students, our academic programming, and how we conduct the business of the institution. In terms of enrollment, we have evaluated every aspect of the college's day-to-day practices and processes to support new and evolving needs of our students. All admissions, financial aid, records and registration, and advising functions are now available to students virtually. This transformation is significant, allowing the college to operate in a capacity whenever needed and most likely build on a hybrid model. We have successfully awarded students all of our allotted $2.7 million in CARES Act federal funds, in addition to new scholarships and student emergency funds through the support of the JJC Foundation. As you can see on the screen, these numbers are amazing. The Student Emergency Fund was established by the JJC Foundation in 2004 to help students facing short-term financial setbacks to complete their courses. Students in need of food, transportation, books, and sometimes tuition received the assistance they needed to stay in school. Without the help of the Student Emergency Fund, thousands of students may never have completed their education. Today, many JJC students are struggling financially with the downturn of the economy and loss of their jobs, making it hard to justify the cost of continuing their education. This fund raised $7,000 in its first year, and in total has raised over $250,000 to assist students in need. Since March, $33,000 was raised to aid students during the pandemic, and more than 90% of the donations came from our JJC employees. That is truly incredible. Our corporate sponsors have come through this year too. Though 2 of 3 of our banner events were canceled, they kept their sponsorship in place, and all funds went directly to support our students. Through the generosity of the JJC Foundation, 50 loaner laptop computers were purchased for students in need of technology. Recently, Gear Funding, another CARES Act source, added 30 additional devices into the program. Yet successes are not without challenges. Over the summer, we experienced a 6% gain in student enrollment. Yet these gains did not carry over to the fall 2020 semester. Through quantitative and qualitative assessment, the reality of public health pandemic and its limitations have had a significant impact. There are students who prefer face-to-face learning through student surveys in the spring and early fall, which included both enrolled students and those who chose not to enroll. Data shows that many students prefer face-to-face learning environment. We know this will continue to be a challenge as we move forward with the spring semester enrollment. Secondly, there's a gap year mentally. Many of you have heard about this, meaning the prospective or current student will not attend college at all this year given the circumstances. These are students who are seeking the holistic college experience, clubs, organizations, and gatherings with friends. With this in mind, we continue marketing to parents, emphasizing the benefits of not taking a gap year and taking at least a class or two to make progress towards their degree. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, we know economic hardships weigh heavily on the populations we serve. Students and their families are underemployed or unemployed, so the strength of our foundation and the scholarships it supports, including the Student Emergency Fund and the federal funding we have attained, have all positively contributed to the retention of many of our students. Past case studies tell us that economic recessions often lead to an increase in community college enrollment. This situation, however, is quite different. The pandemic has overturned these traditional calculations. According to preliminary data from the National Student Clearinghouse Research Center, many of the students do not have adequate internet access to begin with, many who have also faced increased family obligations that limits the time that can be devoted to their studies. It is important to me to share our challenges with each of you. These are things I know we can strengthen, but there are many things that we are connected so closely to in our environment. What I will say is this: know that we hold the title of the nation's first public community college proudly, and that we have thrived over 120 years because we are JJC strong. Resilience and innovation are in our DNA. Speaking of innovation, I am very excited to share the college's solar field will be up and running near the end of November. Located on the eastern side of the main campus on a 7-acre plot of land, the 1.37 megawatt array will save on energy costs, increase sustainability efforts, and encourage future academic opportunities. We are working with Pivot Energy for the installation and have the amazing support of Dr. Sarad Pundalika, a local doctor and philanthropist, to finance the solar array. After 10 years, Dr. Pundalika will donate the panels to JJC, producing an additional savings for the college. Over its lifespan, the solar array is projected to save the college more than $1.1 million. If again I can shift gears for a moment, I would like to revisit the Registered Apprenticeship Program, which kicked off in November of 2019. Connecting with our local business and industry remains a critical component of our local economy. To recap, we were recognized by the United States Department of Labor as the sponsor of a Registered Apprenticeship Program in 2019. Since then, we have continued outreach efforts with area companies to not only raise awareness, but also increase the number of registered apprentices. Our apprenticeship program focuses on several key industry sectors like advanced manufacturing, transportation logistics, culinary arts, hospitality, agriculture, horticulture, and healthcare. Based on employer needs, the college worked to obtain approval for a variety of occupations in several industry sectors. Currently, there are 11 U.S. Department of Labor industry-approved occupations in JJC's Registered Apprenticeship Program. As you can see here on the screen, encompassing technical, operations, healthcare, and culinary industries. There are over 2,000 industry-approved occupations recognized by the U.S. Department of Labor, and we work closely with local companies to align their workforce needs with the Registered Apprenticeship Program. 5 companies have already signed on since then, with our JJC Registered Apprenticeship Program, Tangled Roots Brewing Company, Logoplasty for industrial maintenance mechanics, Mahoney Environmental for CDL truck drivers, Wesco Machine and Tool Incorporated for machinists, and Master Molding for injection molding machine operator. It's important for me to also share an update on our very first apprentice student, Jordan Gutierrez, who is now in his second semester of classes. Jordan is pursuing a degree in the Culinary Arts program as part of his related training instruction while working at Tangled Roots Brewing Company for his on-the-job training. The pandemic has created several challenges across the restaurant hospitality industry, but we applaud the efforts of Tangled Roots to implement creative solutions for dining and carry-out service. Speaking of our local businesses, we have relaunched our Small Business Development Center. Many organizations across the state are welcoming the return of funding from the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity to support small business development centers. We are lucky to receive this grant funding and have reopened our center with an energized team who have already in 2 months connected with various chambers and organizations to support small businesses through this challenging time. The SBDC team has also formed partnerships with many of the chambers of commerce and economic development centers in Will and Grundy counties, working with dozens of local entrepreneurs to develop their business plans, including legal, accounting, marketing, and sales strategies needed for a successful new venture. Primary areas of focus are unique strategies to help small businesses during this crisis and develop new ideas for growth in 2021. This is so important. Remember, these services are at no cost and appointments can be made virtually at local chambers or through our main campus resources. Last year, I was also excited to share that we were developing a much-needed respiratory therapy program. Since then, we have finalized our facilities master planning considerably with the development of 6,000 square feet of shelf space in the U building. This program will be available for students to pursue beginning fall 2022. With a projected 21% increase in positions from 2018 to 2028, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, this career path is receiving more attention every day. But the pandemic isn't the only reason this career path is in its demand and high demand. With the country's aging population and many current respiratory therapists nearing retirement, this national shortage has only grown. Right now, the college is working to finalize its curriculum with insight from local professionals to make sure the program offers innovative curriculum. Those who graduate from JJC's respiratory therapy program can expect an average salary of more than $60,000 per year. The program will also include a transfer agreement for those interested in a bachelor's degree in respiratory therapy. In order to develop new programs, it's necessary for the college to have a solid financial plan. I am so proud to share that our financial stewardship remains strong. During fiscal year 20, we refunded 2009 general obligation bonds that resulted in an economic savings of nearly $8.6 million. We have also kept tuition flat for 2 years while increasing the money available in our scholarship pool. The Board of Trustees approved our fiscal year 21 budget in June. It did not change from original pre-pandemic projections, but we are monitoring it closely. This now is the 48th consecutive year that JJC's budget has been balanced. The total operating budget for fiscal year 21 is just over $99 million, a 1.7% increase over the fiscal year 20 budget. The fiscal year 21 budget also keeps tuition employees' healthcare costs flat as part of our continuing commitment to fiscal responsibility. Tuition, state funding, and property taxes account for 98% of the college's operating revenues. The college proactively works to adjust expenditures to ensure financial stability through class size, program offerings, and staffing levels. For the 14th consecutive year, JJC's financial team received the GFOA Best Practices in Community College Budgeting for fiscal year 19. This award is presented annually to colleges based on their budgeting of resources that promote student achievement with no blueprint to follow and information changing daily, I am proud of the foundation we have built to support the college and the work we will continue to do as we enter this new year. For as many new paths we have navigated this year, we have successfully completed many projects. One that comes to mind is the 5-year, $2.1 million U.S. Department of Education funding we received with a highly competitive grant in 2015. Through this grant, we embarked on a quest that reimagined how students access, navigate, and succeed through the use of the college's on-site and digital services. Our goal was to execute high-touch, high-tech support services through an in-depth analysis of processes from the point of acceptance through graduation. By modernizing the college's technological systems and strengthening in-person assistance, we reached our goals to increase student achievement, retention, and completion. Students can now more easily identify the career path that best suits them. Supportive content is woven into the college's website and its 9 academic pathways through testimonials, videos, related programs, and a 24/7 web chat. By dedicating space for these navigation tools, it creates a consistent and connected experience across all programs in each of our pathways. Over a 3-year period, retention rates for those completing the full student orientation jumped 15%. This year, over 5,600 students took the online orientation, more than doubling the participation from 2 years ago. Through this initiative, we have achieved several first-time records as well. 66% of our students were retained, exceeding the 54% goal. We also achieved a 25% full-time transfer rate over 3 years, exceeding our 18% goal. And best of all, we increased graduation by 18% over 3 years. I cannot express enough the magnitude of the pandemic, even on the initiatives we haven't discussed in some time, like the strategic plan for 2020-2023. Despite our shift in operations, we still managed to garner some successes in this area. And here are a few examples. Under Strategic Goal 1, one objective was to increase access and accelerate enrollment by streamlining operations as they relate to the student experience and academic readiness and intervention. There have been several updates to front-end processes streamlining enrollment for new students at JJC. A total of 5,646 students completed the online orientation from April 1st, 2019 to March 31st, 2020. That represents a 47% increase when compared to the 3,853 students completing the prior year, and a 101% increase when compared to the 2,796 students completing 2 years prior. Under Strategic Goal 3, strengthening student satisfaction for support services. We established a baseline and foundation for the Student Wellness Program this past year, which has a total of 208 regular registered students for services and provided a total of 1,224 appointments for students. Through workshops, campus-wide outreach events, and presenting in the classrooms, we were able to connect with 1,448 individuals to share about our services, increase the awareness of our program, and overall provide adequate education pertaining to mental health issues. 96% of students who participated in our counseling and wellness services felt listened to in a session, and 92% of students felt highly satisfied with our services, and 100% of our students found that their information was kept confidential and secure. 96% of the students would also recommend or refer to a friend or peer. This is real data in progress that we need to be proud of. I am thrilled that we have been able to make this movement despite the obstacles of 2020. You know as well as I do, the world we live in today is quite different than the world that existed when we developed this plan just a short time ago. It's important to be realistic and reassess the plan within our new environment. The Strategic Planning Committee has recognized this and is in the process of recalibrating our key performance indicators to closely align with our new reality. The civil unrest we have experienced nationally and especially within our institution has challenged me in ways I've never been challenged before. While my priority remains to listen and to learn, I know it's not enough. From these moments of learning, we must all do the much needed work of building and championing an anti-racist culture and organization. We launched a 3-year DEI plan prior to the pandemic. This summer, as racial injustice escalated locally and nationally, we provided a series of facilitated sessions to serve as a safe place for employees to share their feelings regarding social unrest. While I truly believe we have made progress, know that this work is never complete. We must continue to learn and we must continue to invest. So in July, we welcomed our new Executive Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Compliance, Dr. Eskertina Irvin, to help us scale up our diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. Not only is this a new position, but over the summer, I formally created a Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Compliance Office to allocate specific resources to ensure these goals are completed. A preliminary success of our DEI plan goals, which are coordinated by Dr. Irvin and the DEI Council, is that we have significantly increased the number of minority applications for both faculty and staff from fiscal year 17 to fiscal year 20. For staff, we increased this application pool by 6%, and for faculty, we increased this application pool by 8%. This is just a start, but we know our efforts need to continue to make a lasting impact. So over the summer, campus supervisors and leadership participated in training for best practices in a hiring process to learn ways to develop their skills and practices regarding the interviewing and selection process for new hires. This training directly aligns with the strategies identified in the DEI plan. We also completed an external review of all of our job descriptions to ensure equity, as well as reviewed and updated our search committee process. In closing, in this time of uncertainty, here is what I'm most certain of. Joliet Junior College is a resilient institution. We are the nation's first public community college, and transformative change is in our DNA. Know that we enter this new era with conviction in our mission. We also have strong trust in you, our partners. It is our collaboration now that will shape the JJC for the future. Thank you for joining me, and stay well.